Welcome. Tonight, Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja affirms election of Monday Okpeholo as Edo State governor, as his main opposition, Asuego Dalo of the PDP, heads to the Supreme Court. We have made undeniable progress, that's according to President Bola Tinubu. While assessing his second year in office, he also assures Nigerians of brighter days ahead. Youth from different sectors seek answers to some of the challenges facing them from government officials at the Channels Youth Forum. And U.S. President's global tariffs are temporarily reinstated after a court agrees to impose the ruling blocking the administration's sweeping trade.
On business news tonight, Mauritania's CEO Star becomes ninth president of the African Development Bank as Nigeria's Akinwumi Adesina bows out after a decade of service.
On sports news tonight, defending champions Team Delta emerges winners of the 22nd National Sports Festival as the Gateway Games 2024 comes to a close in Abeokuta, Kebi State capital.
And from the nation's capital, at least 21 persons are dead, 10 others missing after heavy flood ravages Mokwa in Niger State. Tonight, we begin with judicial matters. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed the election of Governor Monday Okpeholo of Edo State, who is the candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the September 21, 2024 election. Delivering judgment, a three-member panel of the appellate court, led by Justice Mohammed Danjuma, unanimously held that the appeal of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Asuego Dalo, was unmeritorious and dismissed it. However, Mr. Asuego has rejected that judgment and is now appealing at the Supreme Court. Our correspondent Manuela Ekele reports.
The courtroom of the Court of Appeal is filled as supporters from the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party in Edo State and lawyers wait eagerly for the commencement of the judgment. The three-member panel of justices led by Justice Mohammed Danjuma goes straight to deliver the judgment, stating that the tribunal erred in admitting the beavers machines as evidence as requested by the PDP candidate. The appeal court also expunged the evidence of the 133 beavers machines tendered at the tribunal by the petitioners, faulting the tribunal. Furthermore, the appellate court held that the tribunal was correct to find that the PDP and its candidate dumped evidence on it without clearly demonstrating non-compliance and overvoting in line with the Electoral Act or switching on the said beavers machines at the proceedings. The appellate court held that petitioners needed to call witnesses to speak to the exhibits they tendered. It further held that the few witnesses presented by the PDP and its candidate testified on issues unrelated to the matters before the tribunal, and they failed to prove their allegations of overvoting. The appeal court held that the PDP assertion of collation of incorrect scores in affected polling units are grossly incompetent due to their failure to prove the same. The appeal court held that the tribunal was right to hold that there was no merit in the PDP and its candidate's petition against the governor. It subsequently dismissed the appeal and affirmed the judgment of the tribunal.
Let's come together as one family to develop Edo. That's what we stand for. But I will not stop without congratulating my principal, the executive governor of Edo State. That's Senator Monday Okpeholo, and the amazing people of Edo who voted for us. Congratulations to all of you, and God bless you all.
However, the PDP are planning to appeal the judgment at the Supreme Court.
We would request that our members stay calm. We will get the CTC. The lawyers will advise. The lawyers will go through it. We will go through it. And nothing stops us from heading to the Supreme Court. And there are so many grounds for the appeal to the Supreme Court.
Focus now shifts to the Supreme Court for the final determination on the Edo governorship election legal battle. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
And in reaction to that judgment by the appeal court, Governor Monday Okpeholo of Edo State says it is an affirmation of the voice of God and the people. The governor, who spoke to journalists in Benin City, the Edo State capital, following the judgment, also says the reaffirmation of his victory means liberation for the people of Edo State.
of politics. You talk to the people, and the people will accept you. The PDP, their time is over. They did nothing for 8 years. Why do you think our people will vote for them? And what you are seeing is in court today is what Edo people have decided, that they need a change. And that is the change you are seeing. For me, I feel that the Edo people right now, they have been liberated. Yes. Peace is back to Edo. Yes. And Edo has spoken. No man can change it. No. And God has spoken. No man can change it. Yes. So that is the truth. My kudos to the judiciary.
Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja has dismissed the allegations of coercion made by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against the Department of State Services, the DSS. Delivering ruling in a trial within trial, Justice Omotosho held that Mr. Kanu did not establish involuntariness in the way during his interview by the DSS. The judge held that the video played in court showed that the statement was taken in a cordial environment and no sign of coercion was noticed. And the third prosecution witness, who led in evidence by the prosecuting lawyer, Suraj Saida, identified the video recording of an interview session with Mr. Kanu, and he said he had on an online platform. Under cross-examination by the defense lawyer Paul Erokoro, senior advocate of Nigeria, said he did not investigate the veracity of the allegations made by Mr. Kanu against the named prominent Igbo indigenes. The witness, an operative of the DSS, said his assignment was only to ascertain from Mr. Kanu if he actually granted the interview, which he said the defendants confirmed. Further hearing in the case has now been adjourned till June the 13th, 2025. As the administration of President Bola Tinubu marks its midterm anniversary, the president has assured Nigerians that his team is on course to building a greater, more economically stable nation. In a statement signed by the president, he outlined the difficulties he met on the assumption of office and the immediate and necessary actions taken to stop fuel subsidies and the flawed multiple foreign exchange windows. He also says that his administration had implemented several reforms across several sectors and affirmed that the economic reforms are now working and that the country has made undeniable progress. He acknowledged the difficulties being experienced by some Nigerians, assuring them that their patience is not being taken for granted. Well, according to him, in his words, I must restate that the only alternative to the reforms our administration initiated was a fiscal crisis that would have been runaway inflation, external fault and debt default, crippling fuel shortages, a plunging naira, and an economy in a free fall. He concludes that together we're creating a system where prosperity is shared and no one is left behind. Young Nigerians have been speaking on some of the issues affecting their development. Speaking during the Channel's Youth Forum, a platform aimed at bringing the youth minds closer to political and thought leaders of the day, they spoke about some of the challenges being faced and, of course, the expectations from the government. On hand to address some of those concerns were some members of the president's cabinet. They also spoke about the steps the administration is taking towards pushing the country's youth to greatness.
When people lose trust, it takes time to rebuild trust. And that is what I believe this particular administration is doing. And how? Look at the economy. We're opening up space. Their investments are increasing. And two things that really makes me happy, and that gives me fulfillment of being proud of being a member of this particular administration. Two things I'm so happy about. I'm not an economist, I'm an engineer by training, but two things. Number one, the issue of the Nigeria First. Because that is the real way back for industrialization. Because there is no way, if you do not legislate that, if you do not have that as a policy, there is no way that indigenous manufacturers will be able to compete with people coming from China, where there's cheaper labor, there's electricity. So for us to be able to protect the local industry, Nigeria First. That shows a president who is looking inwards and looking towards backward integration. Right. That's number one. Number two is, of course, the issue of the naira for crude. You understand? Because for the first time, you can see that Dangote refinery and whatever, the prices of refined fuel is coming down, despite the fact that it's increasing or whatever in the international market. Why? Because today we are no more depending on issue of the exchange, and we are freeing a lot of pressure. And that is why you will see that Naira for a long time now has been stable, 1.5, 1.6, and whatever. So the key issue I'm just saying is this. It's unfortunate that decisions that should have been taken decades ago, we're taking it now. But like what I said, even if it is the last option, if surgery is the last option at the last minute to save a dying soul, you do the surgery. You won't say because it is late, let the patient die. And that's the same thing with Nigeria.
We know that as internet is becoming ubiquitous, protecting our people is also important, which is why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one of the first things he did when he came was to sign into law the act that backs the establishment of our Data Protection Commission. So Nigeria today now has one of the best data protection agencies in Africa. And part of what we're working on is to find ways to actually train nearly all Nigerians on digital literacy. You know, digital literacy is what will help you to be able to identify those fraudulent platforms. There's about 20 million Nigerians without any form of access to telecommunication services, which is why the government is also now investing in 7,000 telecommunications towers. We launched the first one of it in a village yesterday called Kura, where close to Abuja, there's about 12,000 people living there. I actually went there myself. I think some of the media houses were there with us. They didn't have any form of communication. We launched the first one. But what we're doing smartly is we're not just leaving it for them to use to make calls. The same equipment is now being used to provide internet to the local health facility, but also to the school in that community.
In part two, after the break, at least 21 persons are dead and 10 others missing after heavy flood ravaged Mokwa in Niger State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja affirms election of Monday Okpeholo as Edo State Governor, as his main opponent, Asuego Dalo of the PDP, heads to the Supreme Court. We have made undeniable progress, that's according to President Bola Tinubu, while assessing his second year in office. He also assures Nigerians of brighter days ahead. Youths from different sectors seek answers to some of the challenges facing them from government officials at the Channels Youth Forum. And U.S. President's global tariffs are temporarily reinstated after a court agreed to pause a ruling blocking the administration's sweeping trade levies. There's a growing call for recalibration of Nigeria's education sector, one that inspires the nation's brightest minds to contribute meaningfully and leave lasting legacies. Well, that was a consensus at the University of Ibadan, where distinguished academics, elder statesmen, and policymakers gathered to honor one of Africa's intellectual icons, Professor Sonia Onobamiro, for his remarkable contributions to both the education and the health sectors. Professor Onobamiro, the first African to earn a PhD from any British colonial university, is celebrated not only for his academic achievements, but also for his groundbreaking research that significantly contributed to the eradication of guinea worm disease in Nigeria and across the African continent. Our correspondent Bukola Oriowo reports.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Senator Ibikunle Amosun led a host of dignitaries from Ogun State and beyond to celebrate the enduring legacy of one of Nigeria's foremost scholars, Professor Sonia Onobamiro, 40 years after his passing. The University of Ibadan played host to this gathering of eminent personalities honoring one of its most distinguished alumni, Professor Sonia Onobamiro, whose scholarly achievements have left an indelible mark in both academia and public service. The Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Kayode Adebowale, noted that Onobamiro's groundbreaking research on guinea worm disease distinguished him as a pioneer in the field of tropical medicine and public health.
He was a titan, a trailblazer in the area of parasitology, a visionary educator, and a dedicated public servant whose contributions to the University of Ibadan and the broader academic community still remains indelible.
As part of the commemorations, the administrative block of the postgraduate college has been named after Professor Onobamiro in recognition of his significant contributions to research and education.
Professor Onobamiro has left a remarkable legacy that it should never be forgotten.
We have demonstrated that we should not honor all of those that have served us just with words, but by living the values he exemplified, the excellence, the integrity, and the deep commitment to the good of all.
Following the renaming ceremony, a memorial lecture was held at Trenchard Hall, focusing on the life, work, and lasting impact of the academic giant.
His work saved lives and reshaped the field of tropical medicine in Nigeria. What is guinea worm? It is a disabling, painful, debilitating, waterborne helminthic disease. The disease was predominant among the rural communities of developing countries whose population depended on surface water for its domestic water supply, especially stagnant ponds and water holes, shallow unprotected wells, slow-flowing brooks and streams.
The lecture highlighted how Professor Onobamiro's research into guinea worm disease has been immortalized in scientific journals, further underscoring his place in the annals of academic excellence. In her welcome remarks, his daughter, Senator Onobamiro, described her father as a brilliant and devoted family man who was deeply committed to excellence in every facet of life.
For even future generations yet unborn, to see.
Professor Onobamiro was celebrated as a consummate scientist, prolific author, and public servant. As a former Minister of Education and Agriculture, he played a pivotal role in shaping Nigeria's early education policies, particularly the introduction of compulsory free education in the Southwest, leaving behind a legacy that remains both impactful and inspirational. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
Let's toss over to Abuja studios now, where Gloria Omezoke is standing by to give us more on the news at 10. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. We begin with a devastating flood which has ravaged Bege community in Mokwa local government area of Niger State, where at least 21 persons have lost their lives, with 10 others declared missing. The incident, which occurred during a torrential rainfall earlier today, caused widespread destruction, with about 50 residential houses submerged in Tafin Maza and Anguan Hausawa communities in Mokwa town.
Call it a furious flood, and you won't be wrong. That's the state of affairs in Pege town in Mokwa local government area of Niger State, following a severe early morning downpour on Thursday, which culminated into a flood disaster in the area, sweeping away anything in its wake. As at the last count, the Niger State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed at least 21 deaths, with 10 others missing as search and rescue operations continue. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it has activated its MENA Operations Office to deploy search and rescue officers and mobilize support equipment.
I never seen this one before.
On his part, the state governor, Umaru Bago, is commiserating with the people of Mokwa local council area over the disaster, as he directs the State Emergency Management Agency and other concerned groups to take necessary action.
To infrastructure in Kaduna State, Governor Uba Sani has commissioned some completed roads and hospitals to mark his administration's second year in office. Speaking at the commissioning of roads and hospitals in Kaduna North and Igabi local government areas, Governor Sani says his administration prioritizes infrastructural development as a deliberate step to improve Kaduna State's economy and the well-being of citizens. He promised to complete all the 79 road projects initiated by his administration. Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State is marking his second year in office with the commissioning of projects. Accompanied by his deputy, the entourage is in Ngwansariki community to commission the Sultan Road and the College Road in Malali, both in Kaduna North local government area.
Me and my councilor, and our council, and we have decided to name this road after His Excellency.
These are part of the 79 roads initiated under the administration of Governor Uba Sani in the last 2 years across the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State.
When we came in, we made it clear to everyone we want to take development to rural areas, but we also made it clear that we're also going to bridge the gap of infrastructure, mostly in the urban core.
28 of the roads are set for commissioning to mark the second anniversary. The governor also commissioned the Rafinguza Road in Igabi local government area. Residents commend the governor for restoring hope in governance.
It's a wonderful development. We have actually been looking forward to this particular event, and by His grace, we are now commissioning the road.
The administration also embarked on the rehabilitation of 14 general hospitals out of the 33 general hospitals in the state.
This modern, upgraded and equipped Kanu General Hospital is therefore a testament to our commitment to the welfare of the good people of this very important area.
The newly rehabilitation Kanu General Hospital is equipped with state-of-the-art medical facilities and manpower.
Today, we have our governor, the man of the people, the bulldozer, the engine room, the man who delivers at any time. You know, he has given us this beautiful edifice to serve the people of Kaduna, the people of Kanu, Kaduna, and everywhere in Nigeria.
The governor states his commitment to revamp rural economies through increased infrastructure development across the state. Over to Enugu State, and the Governor Peter Mbah says his administration is on course to deliver on his campaign promises and vision, including making the state the premier destination for investment, business and tourism. He made this known when he gave a breakdown of what his administration has achieved in the last 2 years in various sectors of the economy at the Michael Okpara Square in Enugu.
If we stay the course, in 2 to 4 years, Enugu will be a flame of hope, not just for ourselves, but for Africa. Our economy, once restrained at $4.4 billion, will rise to the $30 billion economy. Through bold planning, secure investment, and a collective effort to make Enugu the beating heart of the Southeast. If we endure, if we finish this journey, Enugu will not simply be changed, it will be reborn. This is not mine alone. This vision is not mine alone. It is yours to realize, yours to defend, and yours to demand. The road ahead is steep, but it is ours. So I call on you, citizens, civil servants, entrepreneurs, artisans, students, mothers, fathers, daughters, Enugu. Let us finish this journey.
Meanwhile, in Rivers State, suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara is assuring his supporters that lasting peace is within reach. Mr. Fubara, who was speaking at a meeting with his supporters, the Simplified Movement in Port Harcourt, to commemorate 2 years after he was sworn in, also extended appreciation to President Tinubu for his intervention, which, according to him, saved the state from anarchy.
Thank you for the good people that you have used to surround me. That's the truth. Good people. Are we talking about the ones here? Or the ones in River State that almost died when they heard what I said? Are we talking about the Nigerians? I don't even know them. They spend their money, they spend their time for us to succeed. If I continue to say that I'm not happy, grateful, thank Mr. President, to convey. And there's no reason why there won't be peace between me and the
Still ahead on the news at 10, Mauritania's Sidi Ould Tah becomes the 9th president of the African Development Bank as Nigeria's Akinwumi Adesina bows out after a decade of service. That's in business news. Just join us again.
Welcome back. Let's head to Kebi State now, where the Governor Nasir Idris is reaffirming the unwavering support of the people of Kebi for President Bola Tinubu in the lead-up to the 2027 general elections. The Governor made the declaration during a ceremony marking the 2nd anniversary of his administration held at the Haliru Abu Stadium in Birnin Kebi.
The Haliru Abdu Stadium was filled to capacity as supporters gather in solidarity with Governor Nasir Idris to commemorate the 2nd anniversary of his administration. APC! The event commences with messages of support and commendation for both the state and federal governments, led by the All Progressives Congress, APC. Speaking on behalf of the 2 ministers from Kebi State, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning and former Governor, Senator Atiku Bagudu, expresses pride in the achievements of both Governor Idris and President Bola Tinubu.
On behalf of my colleague, Dr. Sununu and I, we congratulate the Kebi State Governor, we congratulate the party, we congratulate the Kebi State people. And we are very proud of all the achievements that have been recorded in Kebi State. Equally, we are very proud of all the achievements that have been recorded by the federal government under the able leadership of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Governor Idris, in his remarks, appreciates the organizers for bringing together notable personalities from across the state, including all former governors.
We thank everybody. Not all the governors will be lucky like me. I have 3 former governors together with me. Senator Aleru is here. Alai Saidu Akingari, Nasamu Akingari is here. Distinguished Senator Obakar Atiku Bagudu, current Minister of Budget, is here. Our 3 senators are here. Our 2 ministers are here. I have about 4 MDs here in Kebi State. And they are members of All Progressive Congress, Kebi State.
Members of the State House of Assembly, as well as various political and government officials, also graced the occasion.
In a move to redefine five-star urban living and elevate standards of modern sophistication, Paulton Morgan Holdings has officially unveiled its latest premium residential offering, the Paramount Twin Towers, located on Victoria Island, Lagos. The newly launched collection features elegant two-bedroom apartments designed to deliver the ultimate comfort, luxury, and contemporary lifestyle.
In the heart of Victoria Island, Lagos, a striking new addition to the city's skyline is turning heads. The Paramount Twin Towers is an architectural landmark developed by Paulton Morgan Holdings and is being positioned as both a symbol of innovation and a hub for premium living, business, and investment. To drive visibility and engagement, the company is hosting a strategic engagement session with real estate agents and investors to showcase what it calls a masterpiece in modern luxury.
Our road to the market on every of our projects is niche. That means we deliver only premium, and our projects are meant and designed to meet the world-class standard. The payment plan for Paramount Twin Tower is being designed in such a way that it is relaxing and convenient. You don't have to do the outright at once if you don't have it. You can do an initial deposit of 40% now and spread your balance over the period of 10 months.
Paulton Morgan Holdings holds itself very high when it comes to integrity of delivering of our projects, as it were. So if I take a look over the years, we've been around now close to 18 years. And the quality of the projects that we have delivered and the quality of the projects that we're working on at the moment, you can, without missing words, identify that there is integrity behind what we do.
Paulton Morgan Holdings highlights the project's design as a perfect blend of elegance and functionality, engineered to meet the highest standards of sophistication.
So what we try to do with this campaign is to take the very things you get, or you experience when you stay in a five-star hotel, and then try to bring that into the day-to-day lives of the residents or the consumers who would be staying at Paramount Twin Towers. We have valet parking, we have concert services, you can find the infinity pools, the kids play area, 24/7 security, ample parking space. We have parking space on about 3 different floors of the property and so much more.
As part of its Paramount Twin Towers campaign, the company also recognized and rewarded excellence with its agent network, presenting a brand new car to one outstanding performer.
Paulton Morgan Holdings, the management and the board, we say thank you and congratulations.
Standing tall at 13 floors, the Paramount Twin Towers offers premium two-bedroom apartments and has been celebrated as a bold reflection of Lagos's growth, ambition, and evolving luxury lifestyle.
eMoSIM, a Nigerian-led innovator, has unveiled a groundbreaking eSIM solution set to significantly reshape global connectivity for travelers and businesses, while simultaneously addressing critical foreign exchange outflows for the nation. Speaking at the launch of the communication solution, the chairman of the company said its introduction positions eMoSIM not only as a new market entrant, but as a disruptive force leveraging Nigeria's ingenuity to solve universal connectivity challenges and enable Nigerians connect to 190 countries worldwide.
eMoSIM, a mobile virtual network operator, has launched its innovative eSIM into the Nigerian market, and players in the Nigeria communication and e-commerce space are on hand to witness the occasion. The chairman of the company, in his opening remarks, says connectivity is not a luxury, as eMoSIM will enable travelers reach 190 countries around the world.
Connectivity is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. With one tap, Nigerian and beyond now activate instant access to the world. No swaps, no shops, no border. Our eMoSIM connects you seamlessly across 190 countries with 600 connectivity, turning complicity into simplicity and frustration into freedom.
The launch was also used to highlight the journey that birthed the eSIM, as management is commended for creating a network that will ease communication bottlenecks for international travelers.
We can applaud eMoSIM, especially the chairman and founder of eMoSIM, for translating that vision of the NCC into reality through the provision of affordable telecommunication services to people who are traveling.
It means a lot to us as Nigerians.
that this is an initiative being conceived by a Nigerian that will employ people, that will create jobs, that will give value, and that will give prestige to us as a country and as a people.
With an estimated 4 million Nigerians embarking on international travels annually, Emosym's eSIM has a huge market to take care of. Management says it's committed to providing quality service on voice and data services.
We want to provide the best product in the market and multiple layers of the product and add-ons to the people, to the travelers, where they are able to enjoy not just connectivity.
Answering to our data plan, we have two types. One is with calling and voice. The other one is only data. So you can have both the plans. Both are optional depending on what your user needs.
3, 2, 1.
As part of its entry into Nigeria, Emosym will roll out its first product, the first travel eSIM catering to Nigerian outbound travelers in the second quarter of 2025. Unlike using a local SIM while abroad, users will be exempt from roaming charges and will only pay for competitively priced data bundles, as overage footprint will include frequently traveled countries by Nigerians, including the UK, the US, and Canada.
Thank you very much.
A crucial one-day stakeholders meeting has taken place in Oka, bringing together the Anambra State Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources with the Joint Project Development Committee of the NNPC Gas Infrastructure Company and Fradro Gas and Power Limited. The gathering aims to raise awareness for the upcoming 24-inch 153-kilometer natural gas transmission line and the distribution project set to commence in the fourth quarter of this year. Leading the delegation of project partners, Mr. Kunle Roberts, the Chief Executive Officer of Fradro Group, affirmed the company's readiness to begin operations in Anambra State following a successful rollout in Abo.
The Anambra State government, in collaboration with NNPC Gas Infrastructure Company and Fradro Gas and Power Limited, recently hosted a one-day sensitization meeting to discuss the development of a significant natural gas transmission line. In his opening remarks, Mr. Anthony Ifeanya, Anambra State Commissioner for Petroleum and Mineral Resources, highlighted that the project promises to unlock new opportunities for industrial development, emphasizing the need for robust collaboration to ensure its success. Mr. Kunle Roberts, Chief Executive Officer of Fradro Group, affirmed his company's thorough preparation for the undertaking during his project presentation.
I'm proud to know that this project aligns with the vision of our government hospitals, who must produce as a line is around the solution 2020 that we have teeth, we have big valve in our location in Akofa. In the Delta States, we have an office that we have a CNG plant.
Among the key partners joining Fradro in this sensitization mission was Dan Odite and Co., estate and property valuers, who provided insights into the right-of-way acquisition process.
We are also not just about, selling engines, we are doing solutions. We also can put our money where our mouth is by joint developing projects.
While carrying out the acquisition process, there's an areas of claim define field constructions, economic trees, cash crops, farm installation, bridge, community dangerous rights, speed zones, loss of boundaries. These are the things we'll find on the right of way, going through from Oregon, in the states, all through the area, all into our bridgehead.
The interactive session revealed a strong eagerness among stakeholders for the project to commence, though some expressed concerns regarding pricing.
My expectation is that they should have been able to tell the business community how they will be able to receive this power solution at a much more reduced cost.
One aspect remains unequivocally clear. Natural gas is fully poised to arrive in Anambra. With President Bola Tinubu's recent assurance to include Anambra in the National Gas Master Plan, the state is ready to collaborate with Fradro to advance this project. This development is expected to unlock significant opportunities for cleaner energy more affordable power, and even facilitate the use of compressed natural gas vehicles within the state.
The business with Dominic Iwewu to bring us more stories.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, Mauritania's Sidi Ould Tah has today been elected president of the African Development Bank Group. Tah was elected among 3 other contenders at the bank's annual meetings held in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, by the bank's board of governors, comprising finance and economy ministers or central bank governors of the group's 81 regional and non-regional member countries. This comes as Niger's Dr. Akinwumi Adesina takes a bow after serving as the president of the multilateral finance institution after a decade in office. Our business editor, John Mekwa, has the report.
After 4 days of intense meetings, considerations, and asking the question of who can best handle the future of the African Development Bank, well, the climax of the 2025 annual meeting has been reached. The responsibility lies with the Board of Governors, which is the highest decision-making organ of the group, appointed by each member country from the 81 regional and non-regional areas. The body went through 4 rounds of voting in the 4 days, eliminating candidates with the lowest vote in the first 3 days of the exercise, leaving 3 of the 5 candidates for election. And finally, the president-elect of the African Development Bank Group is revealed. The Mauritania candidate, Sidi Ould Tah.
Now let us go to God. I am ready.
He clinched the winning position with a 76.18%, far beyond the required 50.01%. Mr. Tah is the former president of Arab Bank for Economic Development for Africa. He is also a former Minister of Economic Affairs and Finance for his country, Mauritania. Mr. Tah will assume office officially on the first day of September 2025 for a 5-year term, when the tenure of Dr. Akinwumi Adesina will come to an end. John Mekwa, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Mauritania's President Mohamed Ould Chikel El Ghazouani on the election of the country's former Mauritanian Finance Minister Sidi Ould Tah as the 9th President of the African Development Bank, AFDB. In a telephone conversation from Lagos with the Mauritanian leader on Thursday afternoon, after Tah's election at the AFDB's annual meetings in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, President Tinubu commended the transparent process that led to the emergence of the former Mauritanian finance minister. Bearish sentiments resurfaced in the Nigerian equities markets after 3 days of gains as sell pressures, particularly on Seplat, caused the benchmark index to decline at the close of today's trading session. Willie Bong tells us more.
Welcome to the stock market report. The NGX records its first negative close for the week. Oil and gas giant Seplat Energy lost 10% today. That translates to about 555 naira, shaved off its share price to close at 4,964 naira 40 kobo. And this obviously dragged down the oil and gas index by over 5%. You can see down 5.01%. O&O is also down. Banking rebounded today, and Okomu Oil, Honeywell Flour, Nigerian breweries, and Unilever sustained the gains we saw in the consumer goods counter. However, the gains wasn't enough to offset the loss as the oil share index dipped today slightly by 0.08%. Oh well, final trading day tomorrow. Let's see if the bull can make a comeback. And those are the highlights. Will Ibang signing out.
Now let's have a look at the closing performance of major global markets for Thursday's trading session. that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Outside our shores, U.S. President Donald Trump's global tariffs have been temporarily reinstated after a court agreed to pause a ruling blocking the sweeping trade levies as it considers the White House's appeal. Here's Simon Pusey with this and more. International news around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. A U.S. federal court has blocked President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs in a major blow to his economic policies. The 3 judges ruled that Mr. Trump overstepped his authority when he used an emergency law to impose tariffs on nearly every country. It also blocks the separate levies the U.S. imposed on China, Mexico and Canada. Within minutes, the Trump administration lodged an appeal, saying it is not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has said he is leaving the Trump administration after helping lead a tumultuous drive to shrink the size of the U.S. government that saw thousands of federal jobs axed. In a post on his social media platform X, the world's richest man said, "As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending." It comes a day after Mr. Musk criticized the legislative centerpiece of Mr. Trump's agenda. The UN's World Food Programme says that hordes of hungry people have broken into a food supply warehouse in central Gaza. 2 people are reported to have died and several others have been injured in the incident, with the programme adding that it was still confirming details. Video footage showed crowds breaking into the Al-Ghafari warehouse in Deir al-Bala and taking bags of flour and cartons of food as gunshots rang out. In a statement, the World Food Programme said humanitarian needs in Gaza had spiraled out of control after an almost 3-month Israeli blockade that was eased last week.
Well, prior to during the ceasefire, I should say, we were getting in 600 trucks a day. Right now, we're getting in maybe 100, something like that. So it's not nearly enough. And it needs to be going to the correct places. So the various gates, it's inconsistent as to how the gates are open. It's inconsistent as to the roads we can use. The roads that are the better roads, the ones that can get us further along, aren't open at all. It's complicated right now. And again, I will tell anybody who will listen, we need to get in and get in at scale and be allowed to feed these people before a further catastrophe occurs.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says its military has eliminated Hamas's Gaza chief Mohammed Sinwar, one of its most wanted men and the brother of the group's late leader Yahya Sinwar. Mohammed Sinwar was reportedly the target of a massive Israeli strike on the courtyard and surrounding area of the European hospital in the southern Gazan city of Khan Yunis. Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency said that 28 people were killed, but Hamas has not yet confirmed Sinwar's death. The US President Donald Trump has appeared to set a 2-week deadline for Vladimir Putin, threatening a different response if the Russian counterpart was stringing him along. Recent bombardments by Russia are said to have been some of the largest and deadliest attacks since the start of the war. As the Kremlin escalated its attacks on Ukraine, Trump was asked in the Oval Office if he thought Mr. Putin wanted an end to the war.
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon. We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently. But it'll take about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We have Mr. Witkoff is here, who's doing a phenomenal job, is dealing with them very strongly right now. They seem to want to do something, but until the document is signed, I can't tell you. Nobody can. I can say this. That I'm very disappointed at what happened a couple of nights now where people were killed in the middle of what you would call a negotiation. I'm very disappointed by that.
Extraordinary footage shows the Swiss village of Blatten being partially destroyed after a huge chunk of glacier crashed down into the valley. Although the village had been evacuated some days ago because of fears the Birch Glacier was disintegrating, one person has been reported missing. Blatten's mayor said the unimaginable had happened, but promised the village still had a future. Local authorities have requested support from the Swiss Army's Disaster Relief Unit, and members of the Swiss government are on their way to the scene. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Team Delta have emerged the overall winners of the 22nd National Sports Festival Gateway Games 2024, retaining the title they won as host in 2022. Delta ended the festival in a commanding lead from their closest rivals, Bayelsa State. Team Delta picked 122 gold, 96 silver, and 105 bronze medals, and will be heading home with a total of 323 medals. Another South-South team, Bayelsa, finished in second with 91 gold, 61 silver, and 70 bronze medals, a total of 222 medals. Host State complete the top 3 finish, clinching 90 gold medals, 64 silver, and 78 bronze medals. The Southwest State ended the motorsports event with 232 medals. Super Eagles head coach Eric Schell have commended his team for advancing to the finals of the Unity Cup Invitational Tournament, ending the Black Stars of Ghana 2-1, and of course they remain confident the team will become a strong force. Coach Schell says the team will be ready for a tough challenge from Jamaica in Saturday's final. That sports is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja today affirmed the election of Monday Okpeholo as governor of Edo State. While Governor Okpeholo applauded the judgment, his main challenger, Soego Dalo of the PDP, vowed to challenge the judgment at the Supreme Court. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwaudo. Have a wonderful night rest.